Arrête la nature, gros. Hey, Jerky! Ah non.
Les affaires d'espionnage, puis on avait des petits kits Night Vision, c'était vraiment pas
T'avais sûrement de quoi pour entendre en haut.
Oui. Puis on avait même un affaire comme des sous-marins.
Hein?
On pouvait checker au-dessus des marches.
Don't get fooled by this bitch right here. This is Canadian if. It's deadly. Okay, so don't use that. How do you recognize it? Doesn't look like a tree, doesn't it? Looks like a shrub. This here looks like some balsam fir, don't you think? Well, it's gonna kill you. Because although they use Canadian if for medicines, for cancer treatments, it is not balsam fir. And if I look on the bottom, if you look, usually you have two stripes underneath and you have a trunk. It's a tree. This is just like a shrub. It's Canadian if, used for cancer treatments, but it's a deadly tree. So don't use that as a tea. Please don't. If you ever seen an old birch tree, that's what it looks like. Totally not like a birch tree. Crusted, old, dried grandmother. That's like 70 diameter, 70 centimeters. Very huge black spruce. Why is it a black spruce? How do you know it's a black spruce? Let's get closer. Black spruce. Let's see. You scrape the bark and you're supposed to have some green. Now you see the green, you don't see it because it's a kind of green that you can recognize from black spruce only. By pulling the bark, usually you see a little color like this. These are black spruces, usually. There you go. When you see those shrooms, those eat dead trees. Dead tree. So these shrooms represent trees that have been dead already and been decomposing, and these are taking advantage of it. What else should we find in the... Right now, we're in the boreal forest, we're in the lower section of boreal forest, just over the deciduous mixed forest. And in this region we have lots of jack pine, black spruce, yellow birch, because all this region is a yellow birch forest, maple yellow birch forest. But here we're in a big spruce forest and white birch. That's pretty much what we have. If you look at the cover here, we have some balsam fir, but what's dominating is black spruce and white birch. And if you're wondering where Donald Trump's hairdo comes from, it also grows in Quebec. You might say, look, it looks like a red spruce. Why does it look like a red spruce? This black spruce does not look like a red spruce. Well, look at it this way. White spruce only have small nickels, rounded bark. And you can see the red spruce has longer, more oval bark like this. But this Again, when you look inside, you see the kind of green. It's kind of green. It's black spruce. Obviously, you got the balsam fir. I just popped. I'm gonna put on my. See, it's a resin. It's very dirty, but it patches your wound. Balsam fir is also a little energy boost. You can put a little bit inside tea or put some on your tongue. It's special, and takes your mind off of things a little bit because it's kind of a sour taste. Black spruce buds looks more like an oval and more like a rounder shape. Red spruce has a more oval bud, and you got white spruce which is more cylindrical. And it's raining, my camera has no protection, so where are we going? Home. Concentrate. Fomes fomentarius. A whole bunch on it. It's dead. Snack bar, squirrel snack bar. And now the good weather stopped. So now, this is a red maple, and you can recognize them a red maple because they're always sick. Sick bastard. So there are different kinds of specifications of trees that you can recognize them pretty easily. So if you're looking for maple, a maple usually is opposites. So the branches go in opposite direction. They're not aléatoire, they say in French. So when they're opposite, there might be a hash tree, might be maple, might be many things. So there's tricks that you learn with time, so you can recognize those trees just with the bark or just with the buds, just before they become leaves, just before the leaves comes up. So let's do this. For example, you might be looking at a basswood and a bass tree, and looking at it, you say, "Hey, that's a maple tree because look at the bark on it." Well, if that's the only criteria you're looking at, you just didn't recognize the tree, because a bass tree doesn't have opposite branches, and it has like a purplish bud. Now we have red maple right here. It's about to grow into a tree. So you can recognize it pretty easily when it's small like that. Well, when it's bigger, like where that squirrel is, you can't see the leaves, nothing. You have to check out the other criteria. You can see some animals are eating these. And this is paper birch, white birch. Why? The lenticels, they're a little edgy. And yeah, the cherry tree. How did I recognize it? We'll talk about that later. So I'm giving you small intros, quick walking down the forest of trees. I can help you recognize, make an effort in the summer to give you a better work and better presentation, so I can help you recognize your tree essences, so you can learn the type of plants also and trees that are in your area. Then you can learn which ground certain trees grows on versus some other. Birch, usually it's intermediate. It doesn't intermediate what? In terms of shadow and drainage. But some trees that only want good drainage. On top of mountains you'll see maple. So yeah, take care. Lots of little hints like that I'll give you. Now it's just a little intro on the trail. I have a little trick to recognize this black spruce. Also, just looking at it, it grows 360 around the little branch, and it's twisty. If I take, it's less than 1 centimeter long, and needles, and they kind of roll easily. You can see some orangey sometimes, but you know those criteria change. But it's not going to be a white branch like this. I mean, it's going to be orange. It's not going to be like white spruce. And then they grow into this. Huge, big, long trees. Very nice and dense. First weekend of May, and we're still on the snow. And what did they put on? There's a sign here. I'm going to go check it out for you. Pretty easy to recognize. Put that on the trail so it helps people recognize the balsam trees. Look, sometimes I'll show you why. Sometimes it's a little hectic to find them, but this is really representative. You can see little bubbles. And usually you're looking for a balsam tree, and you're looking. Is this a balsam tree? There's no bubbles, but it's a balsam tree. You go back, look at it, go look at it. It's if I look at it closely, there's 2 lines in the back, and it's in the back of the needle, and there's a little bit more than 1 centimeter. Hemlock, the needles are less than 1 centimeter, and you can recognize the tree fairly easily with the crooked branches, like a white pine, for example. As well, when you see a crack, not like this, but when you see a small crack, let's say this here, on the tree, it means usually totally empty. No good. Watch out.